Hi and welcome to my craft room that I'm vlogging from today, which incidentally is Tuesday the 7th of January 2025, so Happy New Year. So yeah, I apologise in advance for the visual disturbance behind me, but I'm quite cosy in my craft room here. I've got my oil heater on and this is what I woke up to this morning. And now we have the sun. So it's going to melt all the snow, but yeah, British weather, hey. Today I have a couple of makes to share with you and my sewing plans for January. So let's get on. Oh, and by the way, you can catch up with me on Instagram. My handle is What Mandy Made Next, and also on Ravelry, and my username on there is Pickety Stitch. So you may recall on my last vlog I had a couple of kits from Liberty Bell and one from Suki Sue that my daughters purchased for me last Christmas. So I've made this one. It's the Liberty Bell kit and it's called Santa Claus. And here he is. I'll take a couple of photographs so you can see him better. But yeah, I think he's really cute. Now with these kits from Liberty Bell you do not get the stuffing, so she suggested that you either fill the bottom with sand or rice, and I've used rice. I had some in my kitchen and I thought, well, I'll use it up. So there we go, we just got a bit of rice in the bottom of this, and then I've stuffed the rest with toy stuffing, you know, the polyester felt. So yeah, I love his little Santa hat with his little bell on, and I love this fabric here as well. So what's good about these kits is she's quite generous with the fabric, so I've got a little bit of this left over. So I'm quite pleased about that. But yeah, I have had some joy from him. He's been sat on the mantelpiece by the fireplace for the last week. So yeah, it's not just making him put him away. I have, you know, managed to see him for at least a week. But now he'll be put away now Christmas and New Year's is over with. So yeah. I love the applique on his front, and I've actually glued these little snowflakes on. So there we go. That's Santa finished and made. Now, you may recall on my last vlog, I was telling you that I might be getting a knitting machine. I was going to do an unboxing, but it was so unwieldy, I didn't bother in the end. But I've bought an LK, I think it's a 150 from Hobbycraft. Now, there were other places I could have purchased this from for less, but I just thought if anything went wrong, at least I can go back to the store with it. You know, it's not going to be a virtual sort of conversation and sending back. So that's why I purchased it from Hobbycraft. So I have had a knitting machine before. I think I told you in my last vlog. It was a mid-gauge knitting machine that I have, and it was in the early 90s. It was a brother. And it was all singing and dancing. It had a ribber attachment, because on a knitting machine, an ordinary flatbed, you can knit rib, but you have to, say you were doing a 1x1 rib, what you would do is when you've knit up so much, you would ladder every other stitch down and then use your latch hook to knit it back up, you see, to get your rib. So a lot of people I've been looking on forums actually used waste yarn, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So here's a piece I knitted. So this is the waste yarn, so you cast on with that, and then you knit your main body in the wool of your choice, and then you cast off, you know, you just knit a few rows of the waste yarn, and then you just run your carriage over it with no wool in, and that'll just cast it all off, you see. You can do what are called short rows. I'll show you a little bit there. You might see how it's gone up. You can wrap, do wraps. So yeah, it's really quick. And what a lot of people do is they pick up the stitches afterwards and hand knit the rib. Now a mid-gauge machine usually knits 3 to 4 ply, and I wanted one what would knit Aran weight wool, you know, your worsted or your double knitting. So my partner had a look and he said, oh, Silver Reed. I said, never heard of him. I said, it's either Brother or Knitmaster. But when I researched it, Brother no longer make knitting machines. So I thought, well, you know, I don't want to not be able to get parts, although the forum did say you could still get them. And Silver Reed have taken over Knitmaster. So yeah, I've bought this this Silver Reed. Now it is a plastic bed, which I was a bit concerned about, but I've watched quite a few YouTube channels about this machine, and yeah, I'm really pleased with the results. So let me show you what I've done. So this is the first jumper I've made. That's the back, which isn't helpful. Let me, yeah, it's just a crew neck with a drop shoulder, and I used the Ann Budd knitting book of sweaters for the pattern, you see. So all I did is I knit a gauge on it. I did it at number 3, number 4 and number 5, and number 4 was the better fabric. So that's what I went off, calculated the gauge, and then went to the knitting book, and you know, you can get your size from there. So all you do is look up the gauge, and that gives you the stitches and the rows to knit. So here we go. I've done a little bit of practice. This is a play jumper, should I say. I've grafted the shoulders, so I just cast that off in waste yarn and grafted the shoulders. Now for this one, I just sewed the sleeve using the loops to the side here. It's not as neat, so on this side I did it different. I just did it the old-fashioned way, where you cast off the sleeve, and then I've just sewed it with a seam to the main body, and then I've used a mattress stitch for the side. So then I picked up the stitches at the bottom, the neckline and the sleeves. I knit the rib by hand, and I used a stretchy bind off, especially on the neck, because I want it to go over his head. So yeah, quite pleased. The wool is a Robin double knitting wool, and yeah, it's great because I just wound it onto my cone, and away I went. Because years ago in the 90s, when I had the mid-gauge one, used to buy cones of wool, and it was the Bramwell 4-ply. Everyone tended to knit with that. But yeah, I'm really pleased that I can now use all my stash up of hand knitting wool. And yeah, now some of you may think, well, what's the point of knitting the main body and then having to hand knit anyway? but to be honest, it keeps you at hand knitting, because before I just used my machine, and to be honest, I got out of hand knitting. I found it too slow. I didn't enjoy the process. But since the advent of Ravelry and you getting access to all new designers, and also the lovely YouTube channels where knitters show their wools off and their garments, it really inspired me to start hand knitting again. So yeah, it's keeping my skill in there, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. What I will say is that once I've knit the main body of the garment up and the sleeves, I just go downstairs at night then and just sit there knitting, hand knitting. Now it is in my bedroom at the moment, so it's taking quite a bit of space up there, but what I intend to do is whip off some of the garments and then put it away. To be honest, it's not much trouble to put away because it's just the one machine, so I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to experiment by making some, doing some patterns on it, which I can do. I can do tuck stitches, and you can do lace, but that's a bit more laborious because you're using your transfer tool to transfer stitches, and I've got to work out which is a knit two together and which is a slip stitch, because the garment, when you're knitting it, the purl side is facing you see. So that'll be a work in progress, but yeah, quite pleased. So let's get on to my sewing plans. So I've got a planner here that I use, and when I first started it I was quite anal about using it. I used to decorate it and everything, and now we've gone to this. But there we go. So as you know, I'm going to go right back to what I used to do, and that is my different projects on different days. That's going to wobble over. So in this box here I've got 2 mini projects I want to make, and this is my Angels Amongst Us apron. I haven't made the winter one up yet, so I want to get that completed. I know Susie from SuzieStitcher, hi Susie if you're watching, she made this for her angel. I think it was just before Christmas she made hers up. And I've got the Spring Lampshade to make. Now these were both subscriptions from Liberty Bell. Now the lampshade one, you did a spring, summer, autumn and winter one. This is the winter one. You may recall seeing this before. I love this little cabin here. And we got a snowman with a couple of Christmas trees, well, fir trees, and then we've got the tree with the robin on. And basically this just sits over your lampshade. The lamps she suggested we used were purchased, I think they were from B&M, but there are tutorials on the internet how to make your lampshade, so you do get enough fabric for that. So you can still make these even if you haven't got that particular lamp. Now I haven't got a picture, I've mislaid it, but I've got the kit all here ready. So I'll just give you a little flash of the fabrics that are involved. I'll just have a scout round, see if I can find it. If I can't, I'll just message Liberty Bell, and I'm sure Sue will send me a picture, because I need that for a guide really. Now on a Tuesday I like to work on my cross stitch, which is a year at Hawk Run Hollow. This is a pattern by Carriage House Samplings, and it was a stitch along initiated by SuzieStitcher. Last time I spoke to you, I was stitching this square here, the August one, so that's now completed. And if you don't know, I've accidentally made a mistake. It should be this way up, 3 across 4 blocks down, but unfortunately I turned my hoop around not realising what I'd done, so never mind. But yeah, and I've started now the September window, which has got the crows there. I've just finished them and I'm starting on the corn. I'll show you a picture just as a reference to how that should look, and then you can sort of see how far I've got. Right, so this is on an Aida fabric, and it's 18 count, meaning there's 18 holes to an inch, and it's on the colourway Vintage Country Mocha or Mocha. So on a Wednesday, like I say, I like to work with wool. I've just shown you the little jumper I've finished, but I've also started a pair of socks. So I'll just, it's living in this little project bag here actually. So this is the pattern I'm using. It's an old one, it's by Winwick Mum, and it's the candy cane socks. So usually I knit toe up and I'm knitting these cuff down. I want to get a little bit more practiced at this method of sock knitting. So this is how far I've got. So I'm now ready to start the heel flap. So when I cast on, I used my, I think it was 3mm needles like it suggested, and I always knit 2 rows. So I'll sew that up afterwards, and then I'll pop it on my DPNs. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with how that's turning out. At first, when I saw the cuff, I thought, oh, I don't know if I like how the look of it. But now I'm quite pleased. So this is the yarn I'm using. And of course, it's the typical sock yarn. You know, the wool, and you get usually, is it 20% nylon in there. And it's a Paintbox yarn. And I think, if I remember rightly, it's in the colourway Dreaming. So tonight I'll be working on the heel flap. So next it's WIPGO. That's what I work on a Thursday. And for those of you who don't know, WIPGO means basically what it says, your works in progress go. But a lot of people don't always use it for their whips. They'll use it for new projects as well. You don't have to use it for cross stitch. You can use it for knitting, crafting, anything really. So last year this is what my board was looking like at the end. So quite a few greens on there, and I'd finished a couple of projects. So this is what my, I haven't made a board yet, but I've wrote down all my information. So I will make a board, but I just haven't got round to it. So my first project that I'll populate my board with is living in this project bag. And it's the Cliffside Beacon, which is a petite kit by Dimensions, and this is how far I got last year. So my goal is to put in 500 stitches, so whenever that number is called, that's when I'll work on it. So there are 6 days in the year they're donated to Cliffside Beacon. You also get WIPGO weekends, so think it's the second week in every month, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you donate those days to working on your WIPGO project. The next one is living in this project bag. I love this fabric. Do you know, I forgot what it's called. Is it Yippee-Yi-Yay? But it was I think it's a Michael Miller. I love the retro. So what I did is I just altered this bag to suit my needs really. I popped some felt in so that I could put my, you know, cotton and needles in there. This is the pattern, and it's called All Things Grow with Love, and it's designed by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Now I'm stitching this for my youngest daughter, and this is on, I think this is on a Lagana, but this is how far I got. But if you look here on the pattern where that little star is, there is 2 initials, and I think Lindsay, who designed this, has put her initial and her husband's on, because there is some lovely photographs in there. She's obviously designed this for a wedding day. So there's also a bonus chart in here where you can stitch a small. So yeah, I really thought this was a pretty pattern. Now my youngest daughter, I said to Lucy, I said, would you like your initials and James in there, or the children's? And she said children's. So she's got 2 girls, but then just as I was coming to stitch around this area, she rang me to tell me the good news that she was expecting another baby. So I thought, well, I'll wait, and when we know the baby's names, I'll finagle that bit of stitching, perhaps drop it a bit, so I can include the baby's initial as well. So the good news on that score is that this Thursday she'll be having the baby. So yeah, so it'll be by C-section. So yeah, I was talking to her this morning and said, just think in another 60 hours we will have a new addition to the family. So she's having a baby girl, so that's 3 daughters she'll have, just like I've got 3 daughters, and I can't wait. But you see, she's picked some names, but like I say, until the baby's born and you've got that baby in your arms, and you know, over the next few days, that's when really you're best choosing the name, because the name has to suit, doesn't it? So I'll carry on with this, but as for the initial bit, the star bit, which should go here, we'll just hang fire and see what name she picks. It's all exciting, it really is. Right, so my other WIPGO projects. Now I like to have some more smalls, and it's funny because I was watching Davina. Hi Davina, if you're watching. I was watching Davina from Little Workroom Crafts the other day, and she was saying that she would like some more to stitch some more little pillows. And I thought, you know, I was thinking the same, because I've got 2 trays, and you know, I've got nothing to put in them. So this is my next WIPGO project, and it's an Erica Michaels, and it's called Pumpkins Please. And I've also picked another Erica Michaels one, and there's 3 little smalls on here, and it's called Chocolate or Coffee. And I've never made a strawberry before, but there is a tutorial on Erica Michaels' website that shows you how to stitch the strawberry, how to form it after you've stitched it. So I'm looking forward to making that, because it's lovely to learn new things. So those are my WIPGO But once I finish my Hawk Run Hollow, I've got another small layer I'd like to stitch. And this is Season's Blessings by Lila's Studios. Now I did stitch the fall one a few years ago, and I've never stitched the cardinal because this bird isn't native to England, but actually it's a waste of a pattern, so I am going to stitch it. I've only ever seen one cardinal once, and it was in Florida, funnily enough. So yeah, really pretty bird. So if you want to join in WIPGO, if you go onto the Facebook, there's a group called WIPGO 2025. If you're already on there on the 2024 group, it's just gone naturally into the 2025 now. And that's where you see other people's projects and ideas, and also the calling of the numbers. And Jessie Marie also calls the numbers on her YouTube channel, and I'll pop a link into that down below. So she's already called the numbers for January, and it was number 11 and number 20. So yeah, that means that I'll be working on my All Things Grow. I want to put 500 stitches into that and 500 into the pumpkins one. So yeah, that's exciting. So on Friday I've chosen this cushion to make. Usually I sew a garment, but I wanted to make something from this book. It's called Quilt a Gift, and the author is Barry Sue Gourdet. So this is the cushion. Now I'll try and take a photograph so you can get a better picture. But they're using these yo-yos, and that's something else I've never stitched with. Now there is a matching little mini quilt, and that's that. And I really would like to make that as well. So I thought, well, Saturday I usually sew with scraps or quilt, so I thought I would make the cushion and the quilt over the Friday, Saturday and the Sunday. And when I was looking through this last night, I also noted that there are some little boxes to make as well. And it's got the little flower with the yo-yos at the bottom of the box, because it's all about making a gift really, only this will be a gift to myself. Sorry if it's gone dark, let me just switch the light on. That's better. Oh, now we've gone a bit yellow. Let me just adjust it on my camera. Right, that's better. So yeah, so let me just, I've been using my rope bowl that I made. I don't think I've ever shown this. This is the first one I made. I made this in summer. Just use these little scraps up. But I've had a go at making some of the yo-yos. Now, when I looked at the pattern, it did say that, you know, the templates at the back of the book, it did say that they were only 50%. And so you have to scan them on a photocopier at 200 to get the true template, you see. So that's the yo-yo template there. Now that only measures 1 inch across, so if it's only 50%, I calculate that the yo-yo template is 2 inches. Now I have got this one, but this comes out at 1 3/4 inches, and it was a Clover yo-yo template, like Yo-Yo Maker. But I'll show you what I've done so far. So I tried one, it was very tiny, and I made this one. I found it a bit difficult. I haven't finished it. and I just thought, oh, I'll try my template maker. So I've made sure this was turned under 1/8 of an inch, so I haven't got any raw edges, and that's how that's turned out. So that isn't too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a block out of for the quilt and just pop that on and see if it's too big. But if it isn't, I'll use this yo-yo maker. So yeah, I use my Stampin' Up circular punch, but that was too small. I think that ended up like that. So yeah, I think that's what I will try and do. So it's just fathoming out what size yo-yo maker I need. But I'm looking forward to making that, and I'll just show you a couple of the fabrics I've chosen to work with. For the cushion, this is a Bonnie Sullivan, I think it's called Ruby, and I just love these flowers on there. Isn't it pretty? And then the edge, the middle border of the cushion, they use Suggested Dark fabric, but I've picked this here, this plaid, and I thought that would go quite nicely together because the red there will pick out the flowers. And then this will be the centre, this colour here. So yeah, I think that will be quite nice. And then I'll use these in the quilt, and I've got some other golds and beiges to use in the quilt as well. And then it's just odd bits of red fabric really. I'll show you what I've chosen. This is one of my favourites. That's a Wyndham. Got some red there. This is left over from a blouse I made. And then I've got some pinks. So those will be for the yo-yos. So I'm looking forward to having a go. And let's see how it turns out. So while we're on about quilts, you may recall in my last vlog, I shared with you my pumpkin quilt. Well, say it's pumpkin quilt, it's called Gather Together, and it was designed by Joe Morey for the Primitive Quilts and Projects magazine, fall 2024. And yeah, I had quite a bit of fabric left over from that quilt. So what I've done is I've just popped together the fabrics I had left over. Now there might not be enough to make certain parts of the quilt, and you may have to add some fabrics, but this is what I'm giving away. So there's the wood paneling. I think you might have enough to make the corner squares if you are clever with your cutting. There's a little bit of orange batik here. I think there's enough to make the pumpkins. I'm letting go quite a lot of this fabric, and this one's called Pumpkins and Potions, and it's a Kimberbell. I love Kimberbell because they do these little designs, you see, beautiful. And that's got all the pumpkins, and it's got little bats on it and leaves. I think it's beautiful. So there's quite a bit of this. So that's the width of the fabric there, and if I put it by I'll just measure for you, it's 20 inches, so that's quite a sizable amount, which will be enough for one of the inner borders and the pumpkins. There's some Harvey Swishes here by Deb Strain. I pop a sizable amount in. There's more than enough to make the inner squares for the pumpkin blocks. This is one by the brother and sister design studio from Hobby Lobby. Then there's enough there, I'm pretty sure, to make the borders. This is Quaint Cottage by Gingerbread. Again, we've got the plaid, and with careful cutting there should be enough for the hourglass blocks. So yeah, there's quite a bit of this. Yeah. And again, this is the Quaint Cottage by Gingerbread, and also there should be enough there of the teal for the binding, which I used. And again, this is Quaint Cottage. And then I've popped in some of the green. This is by Fig Tree Quilts, and it's Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I popped in some of the blue wood grain that I used. So like I say, you might not have enough of that wood grain, and you would have to add in some more orange fabric for your borders, and also a cream tonal and a white tonal, but most quilters will have those tonals. So it's quite a sizable amount of fabric I'm giving away here. And also I've popped in this DMC pearl cotton that I used to stitch the Pastrina stitch, and that's by DMC. So there's a full skein there, because I didn't use more than a full skein. So yeah, the giveaway, I'm going to pop it in this plastic bag now to keep it clean. And yeah, this to win this, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to be a subscriber and give me a like, and please watch the video to the end. The other thing is, please do not put in the comments anything that may allude to a giveaway, such as words like giveaway, prize, free, because there are bots on the internet that will pick up these words, especially on YouTube, and then you get people who will apply for the giveaway, and they don't watch the channel. And I want it to go to a subscriber, preferably someone who comments a lot, and yeah, who supports the channel. So to win this, you need to put in the comments the word pumpkin, and I will then on the 10th of February close down this. So any comments after the 10th of February will not be included, and I'll use a random comment picker to pick the winner. So good luck if you want this fabric bundle. There we go, quite a bit in there. Okay, so that's that. I think I've really gone through everything now, and I just want to finish by showing you my Christmas presents. So all my daughters have come through as usual. So this is my first one. It's a kit again. All these kits are from Liberty Bell. So this one is the pumpkin. Like I say, you do not get the stuffing, but you get all the fabrics and embellishments. So isn't that gorgeous? It's called Pumpkin Hollow Cottage. I bet Davina would like that. This next one I received was the Caroling Mouse. So I can't wait to make this one up. And my last kit, wow, is called Riley Bostwick. Look at him, it's a fox, and it feels quite heavy, so I think he's going to be a big fox. So looking forward to making him. Now, last vlog I had quite a few comments, which was lovely. I really do appreciate your support, and you can support, you know, no better support me than giving comments. It's lovely. Now Miriam, hi Miriam if you're watching, from the Netherlands, she did comment on my last vlog that the music was quite loud, and now I do apologise for that. What happened is I put the little bits with the music separately. I record them, save them, and then what I drop them into my vlog as editing. What happened is I turned the editing, the voice up, you see, because I haven't got a microphone on, and so I turned the voice up, the audio on the vlog, not realising it also turned up the music again, you see. So yeah, it was then uploaded. I then got rid of the rest of the vlog, you know, I just deleted it. So then of course it was up there on YouTube with this loud music, so there was nothing I could do about it. So I do apologise, and I will take heed whenever I use music again. So thank you Miriam for alerting me to that. Now I'm pretty sure it was Sally. Was it Sally? Let me just get the Sally mentioned my daughter. I think it was Sally from Sally's backyard, and I'll pop a link into her vlogs because they're beautiful. She lives in Ohio in America, and yeah, she does a lot of crochet, baking, and also shows you around her walks. It's lovely. When she says backyard, gosh, in England a backyard typically measures just a few feet. And this is like an acre. It's absolutely beautiful. Now I'm pretty sure it was her who asked if my other daughters were creative, and they are. All three are, and so are my grandchildren. My eldest granddaughter studied art at college, and my middle granddaughter Ivy, she's coming up for 8 now. She loves to come here and sew. So yeah, they've all got this creative streak. But my they all paint. All my daughters paint, and they paint beautifully and they draw beautifully. My youngest one, Lucy, actually uses her drawings for Christmas cards. She sends them off and gets them printed. And this is one she made a couple of years ago now. So it says Merry Christmas. And yeah, she just uses crayons. Doesn't use anything fancy. She's really clever. And then this was last year's. So those are my two granddaughters looking at Santa in the sky. Look at the Christmas tree. Love that. And then this year we got the bicycles there. So yeah, I just thought I would show them to you. So I think that's everything now. I've probably forgotten something. I don't know. So all I need to say to you is good luck and happy crafting. And I'll hopefully see you next week. Bye.